And good evening. We come on the air. There is still an urgent mission to find survivors after those catastrophic floods in Nepal. The number of the missing has now doubled. Right now, authorities say nearly 2,000 people are unaccounted for, 90 Americans among them because of this right here. Tonight, there is still hope, though, that we have seen remarkable rescues like this. 2 emergency workers there crawling across the mud, reaching out to save this person who was trapped. Now, also, you can see others hoisting up people and survivors, carrying them to safety on their backs. The Army in Nepal sending out helicopters to deliver aid and lifting people from the hardest hit areas. New video showing the sheer force of the water that rushed in with so little warning. A family stranded on the balcony of this home as nearly everything around them is destroyed. The true scale of destruction now coming into focus. Entire neighborhoods wiped out, buildings and cars covered in thick mud and debris. And tonight, new concerns that even more flooding could happen at any moment. In a moment, we'll speak with 2 Americans desperately waiting for word about their missing parents. But first, Janice Mackey-Freyer is in the flood zone. She starts us off.
Tonight, an all-out race to find survivors. Near this tunnel, a rescuer crawling through mud to reach a man who's trapped and somehow pull him out. Rescuers carrying survivors on their backs. Hundreds were trapped here when waves destroyed a hydropower project. It took helicopters just to reach it. And officials say there are 100 more workers still stuck inside. Look. Days after disaster hit, the number of people missing has doubled to nearly 2,000, and reaching survivors is treacherous. This family climbing to a balcony waving for help, marooned by rushing water. Tonight, the water is gone and their house is still standing, but surrounded by mud and debris. Rescuers so far unable to reach them. And now a new threat. Reports that a lake created by all that floodwater in Tibet has burst, triggering panic downstream in Nepal that more flooding would hit.
Here at the river, officials are concerned that the water level may be rising, so they're using whistles and loudspeakers, telling people to move back.
New images also emerging of the moment that triggered the torrent of water. Clouds rising over where part of a glacier collapsed. There are still 90 Americans missing here.
I just want to know she's okay.
Including Hunarai's mother, who came to Nepal from Kentucky for her birthday.
She's so incredibly loved, and she has like the most beautiful personality anybody could ever have.
Janice Mackey-Freyer joins us tonight from Nepal. And Janice, this is sort of interesting. Officials there in Nepal are not asking for more search and rescue teams. Explain why.
Well, U.S. aid is beginning to arrive here, things like food and blankets. But so far, Nepal says it doesn't want search and rescue help. Officials here insist their security forces are going to handle this. Yet there are 2,000 people who are missing in what is effectively a corridor of mud. So the magnitude of what those rescuers are facing, Tom, is staggering.
Yeah, it's terrible. Okay. Janice Mackey-Freyer for us. I want to bring in 2 of those Americans desperate for word from their missing loved ones. Dhruv Amin's mother and mother-in-law and Sunny Patel's father were part of a group of 7 Americans making a religious pilgrimage to Tibet when the floods hit. They are lifelong family friends together tonight, and they're joining Top Story. First, I am so sorry for what you guys are both going through right now. If we can, Dhruv, talk to us about the last time you spoke to your family, and do you have any idea what is going on right now?
So the last time we both talked to our family was the night before. They were planning to make the crossing where we saw that building getting hit by the water. It's funny because their car broke down before they were supposed to cross, and they would have crossed and we would have been fine if their car didn't break down. But we just got messages saying that we'll see you soon, we'll talk to you soon, everything's great, everything's fine. My mom sent me pictures and they're like, this is what we're doing our prayers and we're doing everything else, and haven't heard since then. So we're anxiously waiting to hear some sort of information.
Sonny, does something like this, does it compel you to want to kind of run over there and just try to look for yourself? And I know it's it's hellish right now what's going on over there. But what can you do? You know, I'm sure it's so hard.
Yeah, there's a lot of waiting around and a lot of staring at your phone, and there's really not much beyond that. I mean, my mom and Dhruv's wife are anxious to get on a flight and go out to Nepal, but we're kind of taking the other approach as to like, what are you going to do there? I mean, you see the videos that you guys are playing to open up the show, and it's rescue forces, crawling around on the ground, carrying human full-size adults, and like my mom's not capable of doing that, right? Like, I don't think in any sane world she's going to be searching and rescuing. Now, they want to get over there and just be close, and I understand that, but it makes it pretty difficult to navigate. It's a lot of emotions, and a lot of practicality doesn't always weigh in when
Dhruv, and again, I thank you for talking to us, but I know this has been very, very hard. What did you think when you saw those first images coming in? Because I know, we see a lot of stuff in our news business. I thought the images were fake because they were so horrific and devastating. You almost couldn't believe that. And did your families get any sense that this was a possibility? I know it was sort of a freak accident, but were there any talks of sort of a natural disaster bubbling up there?
I mean, our parents are going for a pilgrimage to one of our sacred areas in Hinduism. And truth is, this is the easy part of the trip. This is the part where you're not expecting anything. When they're going up the mountain and they're doing their circle and they're doing the parikrama, like, that's the part where we were going to be worried. Are they going to be okay? Are they going to handle this? And my mother has done this trip 7 times. This is her 7th time. I myself have done this 10 years, almost 15 years ago. And I was shocked because I saw the building and I was like, I was in front of this building 15 years ago. And you see the tsunami. And honestly, that wave of water hits you with that wave of thought that my mother-in-law, my close family friend, my mom were in that building. And there's a shot that they may still be in that building. We don't have confirmation. And it's just overwhelming to see the level of everything that's here. And as someone who's visited this area, it's heartbreaking even more because now you see the damage that's gone to this area. But honestly, my first thoughts are about our families, and hopefully they can come back safe. After seeing all this, it gets scarier every minute we see it.
Sonny, I know you guys have been in contact with people that are over there on social media. I mean, what can you do? Do you send photos of your family and say, have you seen this person?
That's kind of why we're doing these segments, right? So we got in touch with, we've called every state agency we can think of, but when we talked to the U.S. Embassy in Beijing, the suggestions were to get on socials and post on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. So that's kind of how this whole thing started, to just raise awareness for anybody. Maybe someone sees these pictures and says, oh, I know somebody over there, and they recognize somebody or something. Just any form of communication. At this point, we're kind of looking for a miracle of sorts. So just any way to raise awareness and get pictures out there for the people that are missing. Obviously our parents, but there's thousands of others. So that's kind of our only approach right now.
Dhruv, I heard Sonny mention the State Department. What has your communication been like with government officials here?
The State Department has reached out to us. They reached out to us today. I mean, their frustration is probably ours, where we're worried they crossed the border and we're not getting much information from China. And that's our problem. I mean, I almost feel more comfortable if they happen in Kathmandu, if it happened in Nepal. You guys are there. We have enough journalists. We have people there, but we hear nothing from China. And did they make it? Did they not? Right? There's a hour window where they may have possibly gone in a car and drove, and they may be safe, or they didn't, or they got caught. And there's no information that we have at all. We're trying to track their phone using their last ping, and it stops right on the bridge that we see these videos. And it's hard because we can't get any information. So our State Department has been great. They've been reaching out to us. It's just that they can't give us any information that we don't know already. And that's why we're trying to go in any other avenue we can, just to get some glimmer of a picture or a phone call or something like that that can tell us that everything is going well.
Yeah, Dhruv Amin, Sunny Patel, I am so sorry for what you guys are going through. If people are out there, you said you guys are on social media, that they can just reach out and look for the images there. Okay, I hope you guys get some type of information. Again, I'm so sorry for what you're going through.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Back here at home, we are also tracking another major story. We are on verdict watch in the murder trial of Lindsay Clancy, the Massachusetts mom who admitted to killing her 3 young kids. On day 2 of deliberations, the jury asking to see specific evidence, including a knife and 2 bags of pills. Emily Aketa is at the courthouse.
Tonight, Lindsay Clancy's fate hanging in the balance.
It's been a long day for everybody.
After a second day of jury deliberations ended without a decision on whether the Massachusetts mom should be held criminally responsible for killing her 3 kids in 2023. But today, some insight into the jury room. Clancy's attorney seen walking a box of exhibits into the courthouse. He says the jury requested to see the knife she harmed herself with and 2 bags of pills, including the one the defense held up during closing arguments. What can we infer from them asking for the physical evidence?
Okay, one thing is they just might be getting organized, right? The second part is that it may get right to the crux of the case. How mentally ill was Lindsay Clancy?
The defense doesn't deny Clancy killed her kids, but argues postpartum psychosis is to blame, while the prosecution says Clancy was in full control.
She left them discarded on the basement floor, like broken toys.
NBC News learning today, one of the prosecution experts, psychiatrist Dr. Avram Mack, is no longer employed by a children's hospital in Delaware. They say he resigned on Monday, the same day he finished his testimony, contending Clancy knew right from wrong. But the defense hammered his credibility when Mack mischaracterized an episiotomy, a surgical incision.
I'm referring to you saying that an episiotomy is a tear, and it's not.
We were unable to reach Mack for comment. It's hard to say just how close the jury is to reaching a verdict, but the defense acknowledges it could take some time because of the complicated nature of this case, including 21 days of testimony to consider. In the meantime, the defense tells me that Lindsay Clancy is feeling nervous and scared. Jury deliberations will resume on Monday, Tom.
Okay, Emily Aketa covering that trial for us. Emily, thank you. In Florida, a pilot is lucky to be alive tonight after a stunning crash right into a Florida beach. George Solis with the incredible video.
Tonight, the stunning crash along the East Coast. Watch as that small plane quickly loses altitude and slams into the water in Florida. You can see the large splash as it makes impact and flips over.
Engine failure, going in the water.
It happened Thursday just off New Smyrna Beach.
Very scary, and a lot of police and lifeguards come down. They had 4-wheelers.
Authorities say the lone pilot was amazingly able to climb out of the aircraft without life-threatening injuries.
I heard a loud backfire, like one big pop. No smoke, just a real loud pop in the engine.
David Young recorded the video, crediting the pilot for taking swift action.
He really couldn't put it on the beach. I mean, there's obviously people on the beach.
With the plane lying upside down in the water, lifeguard Nicholas Giroux rushed in to help.
He was definitely shooken up, but he seemed fine physically.
After that incredible crash landing.
It's definitely the craziest and most unexpected situation I've had to deal with.
Okay, with that, George Solis joins Top Story Live tonight. He is on the beach for us. George, do we know about the condition of the pilot?
Tom, amazingly, no known injuries. So he was evaluated there on site after the crash, unscathed. He was later taken to a hospital where, again, amazingly, no injuries. Now, as far as what's next, the NTSB and the FAA are going to investigate what caused this crash. And by the way, we also reached out to the Banner Plane Company tonight. We did not hear back. Tom?
Okay, George Solis for us. George, thank you. Now to Top Stories, money talks and the efforts to tame rising prices across the country. In his clearest warning yet, Fed Reserve Chair Kevin Warsh called inflation concerning, leaving the door open for the interest rate hikes in the future, possibly. Brian Chung is at an annual Fed meeting in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Brian, great assignment to have over there. You're looking the part. We appreciate it. Not sure if you're going to do some dove hunting there, but let us know. What can we read into the Fed chair's remarks? Could we see an interest rate hike this year?
Well, Tom, it really is more like hawk hunting out here in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. That is the economics term for policymakers that might be biased towards an interest rate hike, because that's what we heard from the Fed chairman just behind me at the Jackson Lake Lodge. This is exactly where we got this big splashy speech. This is an annual conference, but this is, of course, the first conference under newly minted Federal Reserve Chairman Kevin Warsh, who's only been in the role for just a few months. And in that speech, he offered what some economists I've been speaking with all day described as a welcome and a pleasant surprise, because he offered a lot of detail, a lot of thoughts on where inflation is right now. He said that inflation is concerning despite some more optimistic prints on prices in America that we've gotten this summer. He seemed to suggest he's not happy with inflation. And even though he didn't say how he would deal with that inflation, he did reiterate that the Fed's playbook for dealing with inflation has historically been interest rate hikes, which means that he could be opening the door for an interest rate hike as soon as September. You had markets rapidly repricing off of those remarks earlier this morning, and a majority of traders now expect the Fed to hike interest rates in just 3 weeks.
Okay, that's important there, that last part, what you just said. Brian, Americans are feeling the pressure of high prices at home. What more did the Fed chair say about the current state of the economy?
Yeah, well, on one hand, you have the Federal Reserve's, again, they have a dual mandate. On one hand, it's stable prices, and he did describe inflation as something that is concerning to him. But on the other side of things, the Federal Reserve is also tasked with maximum employment, making sure that people have jobs, that they're getting paid well in those jobs. And he said the labor market does look steady. Unemployment is just hovering above the 4% range, which most economists will say is relatively healthy. So he did say that's good. But again, reiterating that he has this concern about inflation is certainly something. You have to remember, this is a Fed chair that's new to the job, and he's also setting forth what he describes as pretty dramatic change. He wants to institute a new regime that is going to cloud the outlook for how this Fed operates. I was speaking with one Fed official, Cleveland Fed President Beth Hammack. She actually preferred to raise interest rates earlier. She dissented in July, wanted to raise rates in that meeting. The board and the other Fed policymakers that get to vote on interest rates, they are a part of this picture as well that is increasingly clouded by this Fed chair who is still yet to set forth his agenda for that reform, meaning that the cloudy skies that you see right behind me here at the Tetons is a bit emblematic of what the Federal Reserve finds itself in as well, Tom.
Oh, we'll take those cloudy skies. It looks beautiful out there. Brian, enjoy your time there. We thank you for your report. To Houston now, where President Trump announced major plans to create a new Space Force Academy during a visit to NASA Space Center. The news coming as NASA prepares to launch its next generation telescope that is expected to give us a new look into the universe. Here's Tom Costello.
Making history in Houston, the Artemis II crew awarded the Congressional Space Medal of Honor as President Trump announced the creation of a new academy for the Space Force military branch, much like West Point, Annapolis, or the Air Force Academy.
A nation cannot be first on Earth if we're going to be second in space. Just not going to happen.
Mr. Trump then became the first president to call the space station from mission control.
I just want to thank Jessica, Anil, Jack, great Americans, great patriots, brave people.
All as NASA prepares to make history this weekend, launching a next-gen telescope expected to upend our understanding of the universe. The Nancy Grace Roman telescope will orbit 1 million miles from Earth. We went into NASA's clean room to see how it will peer through vast stretches of space to survey the infrared universe.
So we can actually see back to about 600 million years after the Big Bang.
Make no mistake, this telescope is going to revolutionize our understanding of the stars because its field of view is 100 times greater than that of Hubble. So that will allow it to see thousands of planets, millions of galaxies, billions of stars that we have no idea are even out there.
And that will give us the pointer to where we need to go to find planets that are like our own, an Earth-like planet around a sun-like star.
And the ultimate question, is there or was there life beyond Earth? Tom Costello, NBC News at the NASA Goddard Space Flight Center.
All right, when we come back tonight, foul on the field, the parent running out and tripping a young player on the other team. We're going to show you more of that video and what happened when police caught up to him. Plus, the hype is building for Grand Theft Auto 6, why it could be one of the biggest video game drops ever. You will not believe how much that game is expected to make. And a stranded climber rescued after spending hours clinging to the side of this tiny ledge. How crews finally got him down. That's ahead on Top Story. We're back with a wild moment at a youth football game in Wisconsin. A father rushing the field, taking down a 9-year-old player. Police eventually catching up to that dad. Shaquille Brewster now on the video and the story.
It starts as an explosive play in Wisconsin. But watch again in slow motion. Number 88 of the Racine Youth Eagles briefly runs out of frame with the ball. The camera catches up to him, and look closely. Police say that's the father of a player on the opposing team, Terrence Bradshaw, tripping the 9-year-old boy whose nickname is Juju. This angle shows Bradshaw walking up, his pace increasing before the two both fall to the ground. After the incident, both leaving, officials calling off the game, police quickly locating Bradshaw.
How's it going? I know, officer. I apologize to the whole team.
In newly released body camera video, he apologizes repeatedly.
I'm more mad at myself than anything else right now because I shouldn't have.
I mean, it's kids.
Bradshaw telling the officer he was trying to stop the game after his own son was hit.
Did you kick one of the kids?
Huh?
Did you kick?
We slid together. Like, I was trying to stop him, but he was already running, so we slid.
Explaining he was scared because his son had been hurt before and worried it could happen again. Police say the player Bradshaw hit was not injured and cited Bradshaw with disorderly conduct. But Juju's grandmother tonight telling us she wishes more was done, saying he hasn't been playing like himself since this moment.
And even as officials called off that game, Juju was awarded that touchdown, which is in compliance with even NFL regulations if something like that were to happen. By the way, we did reach out to Bradshaw. He did not respond to our requests for comment. Tom?
Shaq, thank you. Now to the daring rescue in California. A climber stranded on a 6-inch ledge. Yeah, just 6 inches for hours, clinging to the cliffside. Liz Kreutz has the moments he was pulled to safety and how he's doing now.
My job was to stay alive.
Rob Martin speaking out for the first time about the more than 8 hours he spent clinging to this steep cliff in California's Sierra Nevada as first responders made the daring attempt to save him. The incredible rescue began around lunchtime Saturday when Martin, an experienced rock climber, says he got caught off course and realized he was stuck. He perched himself on this tiny 6-inch ledge, signaled for help, and waited.
What was going through your mind all of those hours?
There's a lot of stuff. It was, a lot of scary thoughts, a lot of lonely thoughts. It was very uncomfortable. My hands were cramping. The feet were the hardest part. They're only half on the ledge.
But amazingly, he held on, knowing the fully volunteer Mono County search and rescue team had sprung into action.
He was just in a very dire situation.
Hold on, let me get this.
Mitchell Queering says it took their group at least 2 hours to locate Martin. At first, just there as a tiny speck, and then several more to actually get close. Eventually reaching him after 9 p.m. This, the moment of relief.
My message to Mitch and his team is, thank you for saving my life.
The full rescue lasted more than 15 hours, with the group not getting safely back on ground until close to 5 a.m.
I would not be sitting here if it wasn't for them and their sense of service.
What does that mean to you?
It's the entire reason that we do this. It means the world.
Liz Kreutz joins us from L.A. Liz, the conditions at the time also made this rescue that much more challenging. And if you can explain something to our viewers, when you look at that video, was he going from the bottom up or the up to the bottom, or I'm sorry, from the top down? It's just tough to see that there was any path there.
Yeah, really there was no path, Tom. He was on what he thought was the correct path climbing up this mountain, but ended up realizing, uh-oh, I got on the wrong path and I am now stuck here. He was able to, SOS for help. Those crews kicked into action. And part of the conditions you mentioned, it was so challenging because not only was it extremely hot, but there was actually very strong winds at the time, up to 50 miles per hour. And so these crews weren't able to use the helicopter to go rescue him. That is why these crews then had to climb themselves, and they actually had to get to the top of the mountain and then climb down to him using very dangerous and complicated rope techniques. Thankfully, Rob, the man they saved, is okay. Obviously shaken up. He had some scrapes from holding on so long, but he said he wanted to speak out, Tom, simply to raise awareness for the amazing work that these rescue teams do. This group is fully volunteer, donation-based, true heroes by doing this and saving his life.
Yeah, you would definitely say that. Okay, Liz, thanks for that.
Yeah.
Still to come tonight here on Top Story, the high-speed heist on the highway. We'll show you more of that wild video. Plus, our great American this week, from his iconic role as Lieutenant Dan in Forrest Gump to to his mission to give back to veterans. You'll hear from Gary Sinise after this. Back now at Top Stories newsfeed, and we start with a stabbing attack at a high school in El Paso. This was the scene at America's high school. You can see teens hiding under their desks as police search the school, and here you see others scrambling to safety. The El Paso County Sheriff's Department says 3 kids were hurt, but that they're all in stable condition. Authorities say a 14-year-old suspect has been taken into custody. And a narrow escape caught on camera in Ukraine. Keep your eyes on the right side of your screen here. You can see that woman walking before a Russian drone just hits that parking lot in Kyiv. Terrible. It sets off a fiery explosion, but miraculously, she's able to get up and run away. Officials have yet to comment publicly on this attack. And back here at home, actually not back here at home, in Egypt, there was a Hollywood-style high-end robbery. Video, this gang jumps onto a speeding truck. The truck climbs onto the hood and robs the truck of frozen chicken. You can see them tossing frozen chicken into the truck bed. Egyptian officials say the situation took a violent turn, ending in a shootout with those 3 suspects. All right, now to a major update on what could be the most anticipated video game of all time, Grand Theft Auto 6. It doesn't come out until November 19th, but millions of fans have already pre-ordered copies. And now the publisher Rockstar has partnered with Netflix to stream footage of the gameplay for the first time. A quick warning, this video game is definitely not kid-friendly. Take a look.
Here, you take this.
Getting crowded here.
Yeah, the clips feature some of the high-octane gunfights and violent car chases that made the franchise a cultural phenomenon, and many fans are already raving.
Hey, driver, what was your name again?
That was peak. It was actually good.
There is no game that is going to compete with GTA 6.
Everywhere you look, it's just mind-blowingly impressive.
Analysts predict sales of GTA 6 could bring in $4.5 billion. You heard that right. $4.5 billion by launch week, with games costing $80 a pop. The release has the potential to shatter records, and fans are taking this so seriously, they're actually taking off work, hoping to just play all day. The Wall Street Journal warning managers to beware to prepare for a work blackout. One U.S. Army unit in Georgia even offering soldiers 4 days off when the game comes out if they agree to sign a re-enlistment contract. That's crazy. Joining us here on set is Ashley Wong. She's the journalist behind the great Wall Street Journal story and headline. Ashley, thanks for being here. People, sir, they're already starting to plan their lives around this. What makes this game so great?
So the thing that stands out about Grand Theft Auto is the world building, really. The richness of the graphics and the richness of this fake state called Leonida that they've created for GTA 6. And people always talk about the morally complex characters and the quality of the storylines and the fact that you can do anything from completing the challenges and rising up in the criminal underworld to just hanging out and doing petty theft all day long.
It's essentially sort of living an action movie if you were the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the age for GTA 6, for obviously a lot of adults are playing this, but for kids, what is the usual age for them?
I don't know exactly what the bottom limit is on the age, but I would say it's probably not for any kids under 13.
So one of the reasons why this is a video game, but it's not for kids, is because of the things that you can do. I think we saw a clip there where people were shooting at a police helicopter. What are some of the other things you can do in this game?
So some of the other things you can do is you can drive your car through streets full of people, you can rob banks, you can bust people out of jail. It really all operates around committing crimes and moving your way up through the criminal enterprise.
There was also a big controversy when these games came out about the way women were treated. How is GTA 6?
Well, GTA 6 is going to feature the first female protagonist ever in the franchise's history, and so fans are really excited for that. But yes, historically, women have not exactly been front and center at Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, and also the crimes committed against women too, right? And sometimes
yes,
these games.
And the way that women are portrayed in some of these games has been controversial.
So earlier there were some clips that were leaked online, right? And I think the publisher of the game said that was heartbreaking. Why was they so upset about that? Because there's sort of like a build up to the suspense of when the game comes out.
Yeah, well, it's been a 13-year wait. The last Grand Theft Auto game came out in 2013, and so fans have been clamoring for this for years. I mean, some of the players that I spoke to were teenagers when the last game came out. And the release date has been pushed back twice. There was a leak in 2022. And so the more people have been asked to wait, the more they want to see. And that has led to the leaks that have come.
There's obviously a lot of promotion to buy the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have kids already played it? Or not, I keep saying kids because it's a video game, but have gamers already played this? And do they love it? I mean, we saw some of those hype videos that are on social media, but with a 13-year wait, I mean, the bar is high. You know?
To my knowledge, no one has played the full game yet, but there's been plenty of previews. So there's been 2 trailers, and there have been, well, yesterday there was a preview on Netflix that was about half an hour. That's the longest peek that anyone's got at the game so far. And so the combination of all those things kind of provided a look into the world of GTA 6. And so that's what people are responding to, but nobody has been able to play yet.
Okay, Ashley Wong, you can read her in the Wall Street Journal. We thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.
We're going to take a turn now to our series, Great Americans, where we talk to those who have achieved so much about their life and this country. Tonight, the man dedicated to giving back to our men and women in uniform who inspired his iconic role in the movie Forrest Gump. Our Great American this week, Gary Sinise.
Number one thing that I love about America is the freedom that we have in this country. These are all personal coins that have been given to me over the years.
Born into a family of veterans dating back to World War I.
That's me.
Gary Sinise carries on his family's legacy of defending America's freedoms in his own way.
All we're talking about here is 4 amps. In the end, you'll get bit. This is actually the wig I wore in Forrest Gump.
I never thanked you for saving my life.
Sinise's breakthrough role changed the trajectory of his life.
When I really started getting involved with our wounded, it was after playing Lieutenant Dan.
He'd tell us to get down, shut up. Get down! Shut up!
Get down, shut up.
His Oscar-nominated performance in Forrest Gump hitting a chord with veterans.
I like the scene where Lieutenant Dan pulls Forrest out of the bed.
See that? Do you know what it's like not to be able to use your legs?
Well, yes, sir, I do.
And he tells him that he had a destiny.
I was supposed to die in the field with honor. That was my destiny, and you cheated me out of it.
He had that understandable anger and despair that so many Vietnam veterans experienced when they came home from war. And we don't want that for anybody who serves our country.
Sinise became passionate about helping America's veterans. Then, 9/11 was a turning point.
We can never do enough, but we can always try to do a little bit more. I can't tell you the number that I met who raised their hand after September 11th. They said, I felt called, to do it. Well, I did too.
His work culminating in the Gary Sinise Foundation, supporting those who risk it all for our country, service members, veterans, first responders, and their families, through mental wellness and financial support. To date, building more than 100 custom homes for severely wounded veterans.
What you do for the soldiers, God bless you.
Hey, we build the podcast studio here.
All while juggling duties as a dad. Sinise's son Mac was an accomplished drummer and composer.
We have the albums in here, first record and then the second record.
When Mac developed a rare type of bone cancer, he joined his dad's foundation.
My son was coming to help me. He was starting to feel, well, this is my history too. And that was beautiful to experience, to see him just fall in love with it like that.
Mac passed away in 2024 at the age of 33. Gary, now 71, navigates his own grief by helping those he calls freedom providers in their time of need.
If your own broken heart is having trouble, and you help somebody else with a broken heart and you lift them up a little bit, it's a little easier for you.
Still ahead on Top Story, would you hire a robot to clean your home? One startup is already making it a reality. We'll talk to the CEO behind the Tidy Tech right after this. We're back now with the business promoting humanoid house cleaners for just $30 an hour. These robots are vacuuming floors, wiping down counters, and tidying up across San Francisco. They're made by Tau Robotics, a San Francisco startup that's inviting people to take part in their pilot program. But there's a bit of a catch. The robots aren't fully autonomous just yet. Right now, they're steered by a human operator with help from AI. I want to bring in the CEO and co-founder of that startup, Alexander Koch. Alex, thanks so much for joining Top Story. Walk me through what happens when this robot shows up on your doorstep.
Yes, basically they all arrive there, driven by our car, and they are usually still going with a human at the moment. And then, they will go inside the house, usually start looking around, checking what is there to be cleaned, and then usually start wiping down some surfaces. And then, for example, put some trash away, vacuum clean the floor, mop the floor, clean the toilet, and so on. And then they will leave again.
Yeah, and so you said the goal is for AI to be able to run these robots without a human operator. How far away are you from that reality?
Yeah, right now we have trained an AI that controls the humanoid with a remote human operator. It's not fully autonomous yet. And we also expect it to take quite a while to be fully autonomous in all circumstances, since the real world is just very complex. So we expect it to start next year running the humanoid at least part of the time without any remote human.
Yeah, are you losing money here essentially because you're essentially cleaning houses for $30 an hour and you got to pay a staffer to still operate that robot? So is the bottom line sort of tough right now?
Yes, right now we are still losing money, but also, we have to improve the operations at every point in the stack. There has to be a lot has to be improved, but since we are already deploying early, we get the customer feedback and we can improve it every week.
But yeah, when we see the video of these robots actually cleaning the homes, it's sort of interesting. How do you make sure the robot doesn't destroy an heirloom or break, a plate or something maybe that is very valuable to the family that robot is in?
That's also where the remote human operator helps. They know what objects they shouldn't go near. Or also, for example, if there are children nearby, they're much more careful than with the humanoid. So that's where the human help is actually very useful.
What about children, pets? You want to make sure this humanoid doesn't step on the family cat and, God forbid something happens there with little Felix.
With animals, actually, they are kind of scared of the humanoids, so they run away, which is for safety actually great. I think as we make them smoother and more quiet, also they might become more comfortable with them.
What about children?
Our operators are instructed to make sure the humanoid doesn't go near humans. And also there are warning stickers on them that humans should keep a distance. Also at the moment we require always to be there a human adult in the house.
And then, Alex, your robots, I know, are not alone in this space. China is competing as well. I think they had a group of robots folding clothes. This is some video of that right now at their humanoid robot games. How far advanced is China? Are we in the same space as them? Do you feel that you'll be to market quicker with these humanoid housekeeping robots before they are?
I think we are the first one in the world to deploy humanoids to paid customers in homes. I think China's very far ahead, or very far definitely, in the hardware space, the humans they build. If you look at the AI, I think the US and China are head-to-head at the moment.
So you have this robot, it's going through a house, it's transmitting all these images back to a human. How do you protect the privacy of your clients right now? What are you promising them?
We only use the data for internal purposes, for improving our service. And we are not sharing it with anyone else except for our own training pipeline. And also the humanoids themselves, they have also a big sticker on them that they are recording data, so no one is surprised.
Yeah, and what is essentially the benefit, the cost? Is it just going to be cheaper to pay the robot at the end of the day, and it's going to do maybe as good, or let's call it 50% of a job as a human would? I mean, what do you think the sort of calculation for your customers will be in the future?
Yes. It will be better, it will be faster and cheaper. So, I mean, robots, they can definitely move faster than humans. There's no question. And as the control algorithms improve, they will actually do this. And also, of course, the price will come down rapidly. The hardware will get cheaper. The AI control will get better. And overall, the quality will simply get higher since they, for example, have better cameras. They could detect dirt much better. They can be much more reliable. They won't make mistakes in the future.
If the robot,
we are building towards this.
If the robot is in the house and it's cleaning and it starts to sort of go a little crazier, as the young people say, crash out, is there sort of like a 911 call that people can get to your company? Is there an emergency shut-off switch?
I mean, the humans, they are by hardware or by our software, they're constrained to basically not move faster than humans can. So there are already limitations. And then also, since we have this remote human operator, they always have an emergency stop in their hand, basically. So if anything goes wrong, they can shut it off.
How can it, if it can't move as fast as a human, how does it clean faster than a human then?
This is only an early stage limitation. As the control systems improve, we will also increase this limit.
Does the robot have a name?
No, we haven't thought of a name yet. I mean, each individual robot has a name, but we haven't thought of a name for the product.
Okay, Alexander Coach, thanks so much. We may be seeing your humanoid robots in a house or apartment near us soon. All right, that does it for us. Thanks so much for watching Top Story. I'm Tom Llamas in New York. Stay right there. More news on the way. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.